Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. Today we are looking at a trade paperback of Return to the Amalgam Age of Comics, the DC Comics collections. Now this collects 5 different books. I'm sorry, 6. And they vary in quality and are by different people. This collects Bat Thing number 1, Lobo the Duck number 1, Generation Hex number 1, Super Soldier Man of War number 1, Dark Claw Adventures 1, Jlx Unleashed number 1, and Dark Claw Adventures number 1. Did I say that one? So anyway, now on Bat Thing we have Larry Hama, Rodolfo Joe Domingo. The Dark Claw Adventures we have Ty Templeton and Rick Burchett. Generation Hex was done by Peter Milligan, Adam Polina, and Mark Morales. JLA Unleashed was done by Christopher Priest, Oscar Ramirez, and Anibal Rodriguez. Lobo the Duck was by Alan Grant, Val Semkis, and Ray Kreising. Super Soldier Man of War was done by Mark Waid, Dave Gibbons, and Jimmy Palminetti. I probably pronounced half of those wrong. Now, I have to say that Bat Thing was easily the best one in this group. It's the first story, and it's done by Larry Hama and Rodolfo Domingo and Bill Sienkiewicz. And it really takes an interesting spin. It combines Man-Bat with Man-Thing. So all who know fear burn at the touch of the Bat Thing. And we get an interesting take on Bullock, who's black now for some reason, and Montoya as they try and fight crime, and Bat Thing saves Bullock. It's a great story. I highly recommend that one. But as far as the others go, Dark Claw Adventures is kind of a send-up of the Batman animated series and Wolverine, and his sidekick is Jubilee / Robin called Sparrow, and Talia, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, is combined with Deathstrike. And quite honestly, I was bored with that one. I thought it was silly and over the top, and the storyline didn't really match the art style. It was much more violent story than I think was appropriate for Batman Adventures. The animated series wasn't that kind of story. This was much more of an adult themed story, so I didn't care for that one. As far as Generation Hex, combines Jonah Hex with Generation X, and the art is horrendous. Chambers in it, and a couple of the others. It looks like Emma Frost, and the proportions on people didn't look right. The story I found boring. Interesting concept, but kind of boring. It had these stupid robots in it, and I thought it was just goofy. So that one didn't really work for me. I thought it was too stupid, too outlandish. JLX Unleashed was okay. You had Storm combined with Wonder Woman, and some of the others, just various other amalgamations. They were kind of reaching by this point. Fin Fan Flame, stupid. You do get an appearance by Super Soldier, who's got his own story later on. That was okay. The art's fine, I guess, but I didn't find the story very compelling. They were definitely trying too hard at this point, I think. So I didn't care for that one too much. They did include the phony letters columns in the backs of the issues. That was an interesting add-on, but it's kind of stupid. Lobo the Duck, if you're a Lobo fan, you'll probably like it. Otherwise, it's really over the top. Ambush Bug makes an appearance. It's pretty stupid. But if you're a Lobo fan or a Howard the Duck fan, you'll probably get a kick out of it. I thought it was a little too over the top for me, but what do I know? So aside from that one, which I thought was kind of sad and lame and wasn't my kind of humor, Super Soldier was the last one, and it's written as a Golden Age Captain America type story with him and Jimmy Olsen teaming up with Sergeant Rock and the Howling Commandos. That one wasn't too bad. Gibbons and Wade did a pretty good job. It's not a bad one-off. It definitely has a Golden Age feel to it. It's a good little adventure story. I think the characters, that's combining two characters that don't really work well together. Like, he's got Superman's powers, but he still has a shield. I don't really understand that. For what they had to work with, it was pretty well done. It just wasn't the amalgamation I would have done with those characters. So yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty mixed bag getting this. If you find it cheap, pick it up just for the Bat Thing story. I thought that was really good. It had a real Batman feel to it, and it was actually something I would pick up on a monthly basis because I always like Man-Bat and Man-Thing. So combining them is pretty interesting. So that actually was kind of the saving grace of this book. Otherwise, I would probably said to pass on it, but Bat Thing and the Super Soldier Man of War story was good. So 2 out of 6 isn't that great of odds, but the Bat Thing story was definitely the best. Plus, if you ever wanted to see what various combinations would be like, crossing them over, they did it back in 97, and they'll probably do it again at some point once sales are low. But overall, it's a pretty mixed bag of stories. Some people will really like it, some people won't. You really have to kind of have a temperament for it, and since you can't pick and choose which ones you get, either pick up the individual issues or find it cheap. I don't think you're going to end up paying quite a bit for it. When it was new, it was $12.95. I'm sure you could get it for $5 or $6 now. So I definitely won't pay more than like $6 for it. Just buy the individual issues at that point, because they're probably only $2 or $3 a piece tops. That's Return to the Amalgam Age of Comics. The art is pretty mixed. The cover art is actually better than a lot of the interior art, especially with Generation Hex. Not my style. Very exaggerated features. I don't care for that at all. Bat Thing was definitely the best as far as all-around work. Super Soldier, same thing. Second place, I would say, but I didn't care for the amalgamation itself. But yeah, overall, it's not a bad book if you can get it cheap. Real cheap. Otherwise, it's kind of a mixed bag. So if you're not sure or you want something that's going to have more than 1 or 2 stories, don't get it. But that'll do it for this one. As always, thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.